Part 11. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 103. Inside a secret base in Kumogakure village. Latest news. That Hyuga has been elected as the 5th Hokage. A Baiju clone who had just returned shouted. I already know. Obito Uchiha glared at the cheerful White Zetsu clone in annoyance. None of these White Zetsus were serious. Every one of them could make his blood pressure soar. Well, he also announced that Hiruzen Sarutobi was an S-class rebel nin, and said that he wanted Kumogakure village to hand over Hiruzen Sarutobi. Baiju's clone was scolded for a moment, but he still said with great interest. This is already known, said Black Zetsu, who was possessed by White Zetsu. Uchiha Obito controlled Kumogakure village through Goju Yagura. And the news of Konoha's ultimatum has been transmitted through official channels. And there are more details I know. This Baiju clone seemed to be a bit chatty, and said with gestures. When Hyuga was elected Hokage, he smashed Sarutobi Hiruzen's Hokage rock statue on the spot, and everyone was cheering. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face darkened instantly. They really don't know this news yet. Konoha has issued an ultimatum through official channels and will not tell Kumogakure about this kind of thing. It seems that you are completely unpopular in Konoha. Uchiha Obito said in a mocking tone. Although he needed the power of Hiruzen Sarutobi to weaken Konoha. But last time Hiruzen Sarutobi went to exterminate the Hyuga clan without permission, which resulted in the failure of all plans. This point brought the soil has not been forgotten. If the Watermelon Mountain Puffer ghost you sent out earlier could have held on for a little longer, the result would not have been this. Sarutobi Hiruzen taunted back unceremoniously. In the previous battle outside Konoha village, Watermelon Mountain Fuguo Ni and Inagangaki Kisame led only 1,000 Kumogakure ninjas, and they were no match for Konoha ninjas. Originally, they were no match for Konoha ninjas. They were hoping that there would be support from Konoha village, so they persisted. But soon, without waiting for support, the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish ghost began to think about quitting. And what was even weirder was what happened next. The Watermelon Mountain Blowfish ghost, he was worried that if he retreated directly, the Konoha ninjas would follow behind him. Therefore, he told Kisame Inakasaki to lead a large force to the front of Konoha village. He would lead a small force to another part of Konoha. A sneak attack from one side. Of course the honest man Inakaki Kisame agreed with his boss's plan. As a result, the Watermelon Mountain Fugu Demon had no intention of attacking from the side, but instead took a detour and retreated directly. On the other side, Inakaki Kisame was attacked again. It took some time to realize that something was wrong. However, by that time, Konoha ninjas had arrived in large numbers for support, and Kumogakure's more than 1,000 ninjas could no longer hold on. In desperation, Inagaki Kisame could only bring the remaining little the people retreated. As a result, they were dispersed by the Konoha ninjas who were chasing after them. In the end, only 20 or 30 people fled back scatteredly. After Uchiha Obito knew the situation, he was speechless for a while. Just in time, Inagaki Kisame came to report the situation to Goto Kibuna Yagura. He took the opportunity to show up directly, instigated Inagaki Kisame and turned him into a true confidant. That guy from Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish ghost has been executed, Obito said with a cold face. He said it was an execution, but in fact he summoned the Watermelon Mountain Fugu Demon in the name of the 4th Mizukage, and then let Inagaki Kisame take the opportunity to stab him in the back and kill him. Moreover, it doesn't matter how long the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish ghost persists. As long as Hinata Nariku is not eliminated, these are meaningless. Uchiha Obito said after being silent for a while. Their previous plans were all based on the premise that Hyuga Nariku would die in Cloud Hidden Village. However, Hyuga Nariku came back alive, and their previous calculations became meaningless. The Baiju clone next to him was unclear about his identity and continued. I also overheard the news that the Hokage election in Konoha seems to be going through some kind of Jonin vote. That Hyuga Nariku, I heard that he was elected as the 5th Hokage by unanimous vote. At this time, not only Sarutobi Hiruzen, but also Uchiha Obito also fell silent. These traitors. Sarutobi Hiruzen gritted his teeth and said. Everyone actually supports that bastard Hinata Nariku. Before the Kumogakure mission incident, there were some doubts in the village about him, the 3rd Hokage. In other words, Hinata Nariku's prestige in Konoha now, even surpassed him before. Is it possible that you still have the dream of returning to Konoha and regaining the position of Hokage? Don't forget, everyone in Konoha now thinks you are one of the masterminds behind the Nine Tails Rebellion. Uchiha Obito said expressionlessly. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face darkened. It's not you who caused this. The Nine Tails Rebellion is really a disaster. However, after thinking about it, this mysterious man said it does make sense. It is impossible for him to become the 3rd Hokage again. The previous time, he wanted to use the power of the 4 Sarutobi clan ninjas to regain control of Konoha through a coup. However, it completely failed. Even, he was in Konoha, the last bit of power that Ye could control was lost. He was even declared an S-level traitorous ninja and passed down the ninja world. It was impossible for him to return to Konoha. Hinata Nariku, you ruined everything for me. Sarutobi Hiruzen recalled everything Hyuga Nariku did, and veins popped up on his forehead. His position as Hokage is gone. His 2 sons were killed. His 3 old friends were killed. Just even the families of him and his 3 old friends have been wiped out. Now, he can only be an aggrieved rebel, dependent on others, and has to cooperate with this mysterious man of unknown origin. I want him dead. No matter what the cost, I want him dead. Sarutobi Hiruzen roared with anger. How did you go with your attempt at the art of reincarnation? Uchiha Obito asked with a joking expression. When he was still in Konoha village, he was really deceived by the upright appearance of the old guy Sarutobi. Unexpectedly, this old guy actually went to learn the dirty tricks. Reincarnation is a forbidden ninjutsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't pay attention to Obito's teasing and said. Using this strange creature called White Zetsu as a sacrifice, the reincarnated ninjas maintain their strength very well. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Black Zetsu and White Zetsu's clones. This kind of creature that doesn't need to eat, has no organs, but can move freely is really amazing. However, ordinary ninjas should not be able to deal with Hinata Nariku. They need to. Sarutobi Hiruzen hesitated for a while and said. It requires the strength of the previous Hokage, especially the 1st Hokage. However, there are still 2 problems that need to be solved. On the one hand, it requires the DNA of the previous Hokage. On the other hand, if the 1st Hokage is too powerful, he may lose control. If you want to maximize the power of the 1st Hokage of the Earth, you must let go of the control of the reincarnation of the Earth and let the 1st Hokage fight on his own. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen feels that if you let go of the control, the 1st Hokage may first he beat him up. I can solve these problems. Uchiha Obito took out a scroll. There are cells from past Hokages in this place. This. Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked and uncertain. How come you have this? Sarutobi Hiruzen wondered if this mysterious masked man secretly went to Konoha to steal the bodies of past Hokages. You don't need to take care of these. Uchiha Obito said indifferently. Of course he doesn't dare to go to Konoha now. With Hyuga Nariku, if he goes to Konoha, the result is probably that Izanagi and Sanmagatama Sharinan will be reduced by 1. There is no need to think about White Zetsu's clone. It might be okay to let Baizetsu spy on the intelligence. Anyway, he won't feel bad if he loses it. However, it would be wishful thinking to let Baizetsu steal the corpses of previous Hokages. These cells of previous Hokages were obtained by him from Orochimaru through pain. I got it there. Orochimaru has joined the Akatsuki organization and often applies for funding to study some messy things. He has the cells of the first, second, and fourth generation Hokage. You only need to be responsible for getting rid of Hyuga. This is my purpose of saving you. As for controlling the first Hokage's sturdy body, I will find a way. Uchiha Obito said without any fluctuation in his voice. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face darkened, but he still nodded helplessly. As long as he could kill Hyuga, he was willing to pay any price now. However, recalling the last fiasco, he also understands the gap between himself and Hyuga. If Hyuga gets close to him, he will probably be killed instantly without any resistance like last time. He doesn't even have a chance to use the ghoul seal to die with him. Next time you attack, use the power of the first Hokage to kill him. After Sarutobi Hiruzen leaves? You seemed a little unhappy just now. Heiju said in a hoarse voice. Is it because of Naruto? Uchiha Obito was silent and did not speak. It was indeed because Hyuga became Hokage. And he passed the Jonin vote unanimously. He had also hoped and expected that he could become Hokage before. He even once and his teacher, Namikaze Minato, promised each other that they would become Hokage. Last time, Namikaze Minato succeeded as Hokage, and he hid in secret. This time, Hinata Naruto succeeded as Hokage, and Jin remained in secret. I don't care about Naruto. Uchiha Obito said coldly. They are all a bunch of trash who can't protect anything. The fourth Hokage of Namikaze Minato is like this. Hinata Naruto, the fifth Hokage, will soon be like this. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 104. Konoha Village, inside the Hokage building. Hinata Naruto put the sealed book aside, raised his hand to form a seal and said. Wood escape, the art of wood clone. However, nothing happened. Failed again. Hinata Naruto frowned slightly. These days, he is trying to see if he can synthesize wood escape independently. However, so many attempts have failed. In the previous battle at Union Village, after successfully maxing out Yang Dun, he still had 13,350 chakra points left. In order to synthesize wood escape, he increased the chakra attributes of water escape and earth escape to 5,000. Fire escape chakra, 4,000/10000. Thunder chakra, 3,500/10000. Wind escape chakra, 500/10000. Water escape chakra, 5,000/10000. Earth style chakra, 5,000/10,000. Before, his water style and earth style already had 500 points. Now add these two attributes to 5,000, leaving 4,350 points. There should be no mistake in the types of chakra attributes: water type, earth type, and at most sun type. I have all three. Moreover, it shouldn't be a matter of attribute strength. With a chakra attribute of 5,000, you can already surpass most ninjas. So, should it be a matter of chakra ratio? Hinata Naruto was thinking secretly, and suddenly said to the side. Kakashi, go call Yamato over. And, watch, let's make out heaven. Hyuga Naruto couldn't help but persuade. I don't want to look at what you have become, but look at it. Yes. Kakashi, who had just come out of the deserted corner next to him, almost fell down. He didn't dare to say anything and left in a hurry. He was afraid that if it was a little later, the Umbu colleagues next to him would laugh out loud. Soon, Yamato arrived. Lord Hokage. Yamato is only 15 years old this year, but with his wood release, he already has the strength of a Jonin. When he was in the Root organization, he even participated in the assassination of Sarutobi Hiruzen sent by Danzo. But later, because of Kaka, because of Nishi, he was abducted by Sarutobi Hiruzen to the Umbu. Now Yamato is still working in the Umbu. After Hyuga Nariku succeeded the 5th Hokage, he promoted Kakashi to the new Umbu minister. And Yamato took over the original Kakashi's team, the position of squad leader. Recently, because he was worried that Naruto was emotionally unstable and might go berserk again. Therefore, Hyuga Nariku arranged for Yamato to follow him secretly to prevent Naruto from losing control again. Try using the wood release ninjutsu. Hyuga Nariku looked at Yamato with his bright reincarnation eyes. Yes. Yamato replied without hesitation. The other person is not only Hokage, but also a respected companion of his senior Kakashi. Wood escape, the technique of silent killing and binding. As Yamato shouted, square trees grew out of his palms. Hinata Nariku didn't waste any time. The light blue Sensei chakra covered his palms, and with a gentle move towards Yamato, he removed the opponent's absorbed part of the chakra. This is. Yamato's pupils shrank. He remembered that Hinata Nariku used this method to make the rampaging Naruto exit the tailed beast form. It seemed to be a ninjutsu that could absorb chakra from a distance. Sure enough, it's a matter of chakra ratio. Hyuga Nariku nodded and said. It is not that simple to synthesize the blood successor limit independently. The second generation Hokage Senju Tobirama has 7 chakra attributes of yin and yang, 5 elements. However, in addition to the sage body passed down from the ancestors of the Senju clan, the second Hokage does not have any other blood successor limit. If you want to synthesize a blood successor limit, you need very high conditions. First, you must understand the chakra ratio of a specific blood successor limit. Second, you must understand the corresponding blood successor limit. The degree of mastery of chakra attributes must be high enough. Both of these points have blocked many people from the door of the blood succession limit. The proportion of mastering chakra may not be clear even to ninjas who are born with the blood succession limit. Innate possession ninjas like Boiling Release and Molten Shield blood successor limits, when they use the corresponding blood successor ninjutsu, chakra is often automatically mobilized. And even if you know this ratio, if you don't have enough mastery of the corresponding attribute chakra, you will not be able to synthesize blood. However, fortunately, these are not difficult for Hyuga Nariku. He can absorb the chakra of others and can easily master the chakra ratio of a specific blood successor limit. Just like Uchiha Madara in the Fourth War, by inserting the yin-yang escape black rod on Senju Hashirama absorbed Hashirama's senjutsu chakra and easily mastered senjutsu. Wood escape seems to be based on earth escape, and the requirements for earth escape are higher. On this basis, yang escape is added to give wood escape the characteristics of growth. From this point of view, Mudun may even be higher than Shueji in terms of status. Hinata Nariku thought while trying to synthesize the wood release chakra in his body. Yin-yang escape is a bit higher than 5 elements escape in terms of personality. Just like Uchiha, the Sharingan combined with Yinjutsu and Eyes has only one type of yin attribute chakra, but its strength is not weaker than any blood inheritance limit. But for Mudun, Shueji's elimination status is still a little low. Fundamentally speaking, the source of wood release should be the divine tree. The chakra-absorbing characteristics of Senju Hashirama's wood release should be derived from the deterioration of the sacred tree. The sacred tree can absorb natural energy and condense chakra fruits. The source of the 9-tailed beasts is the chakra of the 10 tails, and the 10 tails is the predecessor of the divine tree. It is precisely because of this that wood release has a powerful suppressive effect on tailed beasts. The same goes for Uchiha's Sharingan. When the sacred tree grows to its extreme, the 9 Megatama reincarnation Sharingan will be opened. The Sharingan is the product of the continuous deterioration of the 9 Megatama Samsara Eye. From Kaguya Itsutsuki's 9 Megatama Samsara Eye to the ordinary Samsara Eye of Sage of 6 Paths. from Indra's eternal eye-level Sharingan to the current Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. It is precisely because the source of the Sharingan is the sacred tree that it has such a strong restraining effect on tailed beasts. Wooden release and Sharingan, because their power comes from the sacred tree, their restraint on tailed beasts is simply unreasonable. Uchiha Obito is definitely not a match for the strongest tailed beast Nine Tails in terms of hard power. But with only one Mangekyo Sharingan, Nine Tails can only become a psychic beast that can be used wantonly. The Byakugan comes from the Otsutsuki clan, not the sacred tree. Therefore, even the evolved version of Byakugan, the Tenseigan, can only subdue the tailed beasts with its powerful power. But he can't simply control the tailed beast and use it for himself. Wood escape, the art of wood clone. Hyuga Naruka formed a seal and shouted. This time, after analyzing the chakra ratio of wood release, he easily performed the wood release ninjutsu. From Hinatan Naruka's shoulder, brown wood poured out and turned into an identical wood. Escape clone. This is a wooden clone. Yamato stared at the wooden clone sitting on the Hokage seat in stunned silence. He could imagine that Hinatan Naruka called him here because he wanted to learn wooden escape through him. But he never expected that he just absorbed a little chakra from him, that's it? Mastered it directly. Hinatan Naruka looked at the wooden clone that was exactly the same as his own body, and the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Go call the sealing class, bring the amber purification bottle, and go out of the village with me. If you want to test the power of wood release, there is nothing more suitable than a tailed beast. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 105. The ninjas of the sealing class, led by Yamato, rushed towards the entrance of Konoha village. Hokage-sama asked us to bring the amber purification bottle, what is it for? The ninja carrying the amber bottle asked curiously. He knew that the Eight Tails was sealed in it. Could it be that the Hokage wanted to change the container to seal the Eight Tails? I don't know, but when it comes to sealing tailed beasts, a six-path ninja tool like an amber bottle is probably the safest. The leader of the sealing class thought for a while, shook his head and said. To seal the tailed beast, there are also very high requirements for the choice of container. Ordinary vessels simply cannot withstand the huge amount of chakra of the tailed beast. Moreover, if it is easily damaged, as for the utensils. If the sealing utensil is damaged and the tailed beast dies, it will be a very troublesome thing. In his opinion, the legendary Six Paths ninja tool like the amber purifying bottle is definitely the highest level among the ninja tools in terms of strength. Yes. When there is no suitable jinhyuriki, using an amber bottle to seal the Eight Tails should be the best choice. Hokage-sama has mastered wood release, so there should be a better way to seal the tailed beast. Yamato said with some uncertainty. He had only seen Hinatan Naruka's wooden clone before. He was not sure about Hinatan Naruka's mastery of other wood escape ninjutsu. Wood escape. A group of ninjas from the seal class were stunned. Captain Yamato, is it true? The leader of the sealing squad said in disbelief. After the first Hokage, Yamato in front of them was the only one who had mastered wood release. I've seen it with my own eyes, and you should be able to see it soon. Soon, Yamato led the sealing team to the entrance of Konoha village. Hyuga Naruka, wearing the Hokage god's robe, stood there quietly. Lord Hokage. A group of seal-class ninjas said with reverence on their faces. They didn't know whether Hinatan Naruka had mastered the wood release. But Hinatan Naruka suppressed the rampaging Nine Tails jinhyuriki. They all knew this. Moreover, the Eight Tails was also Hyuga Naruka's escape from Kumogakure. Caught back. Well, I brought the amber purification bottle with me, so let me go a little further first. Hyuga Naruka didn't say much. He led the people out of the village and advanced 10 kilometers before stopping. If it is too close to the village, the test may affect the village. That's it? Hyuga Nariku stopped in a forest and ordered. You can release the 8 tails now. Yes. The leader of the sealing class swallowed and carefully opened the lid of the amber bottle. Even though he was the leader of the sealing class, he had never seen a tailed beast several times. The lid opened. In an instant, a burst of dark red chakra erupted from the amber bottle, flowed out and turned into an 8-tailed ox ghost as huge as a mountain. Boom! The huge figure directly overwhelmed a large forest with a devastating force. Hinatan Nariku. I am going to kill you. The 8 octopus tentacle-like tails behind him were waving, and the 8 tails erupted into a thunderous roar. What kind of life has he been living during this period? It's worse than when he was in the Jinchuriki body before. In the amber pure bottle, he is completely aware there is nothing happening in the outside world. There is only boundless darkness. It has even lost the concept of time and does not know how long it has been sealed. In comparison, the situation in Kiribi's body was not known to be much better before. Although strange Rabbi always sings some weird stuff off-key, but Rabbi at least has a temper about it. Is this the 8 tails? How terrifying, just being there has such power. The ninjas of the sealing class barely stood still. The 8-tailed giant tentacle-like tail waved wantonly, rolling up waves of storms. Sure enough, this is the nature of the 8 tails. Hyuga Nariku looked at the furious 8 tails quietly. The originally arrogant Niu was suddenly tempered by Kiribi. However, Hinatan Nariku soon felt that something was wrong. 8 tails, you seem a little weak now. Hinatan Nariku said with a frown. In his Tsanjian's observation, the amount of chakra of the 8 tails was much worse than that of the complete form he had seen before. Weak. Yamato held it in for a long time before he couldn't help but say a word. In his opinion, the 8 tails in front of him was already unimaginably powerful. Even if he had mastered the wood release to restrain the tailed beast, he was not confident that he could suppress it. 8 tail. The 8 tails looked like they never recovered. Hyuga Nariku cast his sights on the amber bottle. The 8 tails chakra level is still at the level when it was cut in half by his golden wheel reincarnation explosion. However, the chakra of tailed beasts should be automatically its only right to recover. Really? Hyuga Nariku's eyes narrowed. He sensed an extremely strong chakra on the amber bottle. This chakra formed a barrier, completely isolating the inside from the outside. The red gourd can block the light of the infinite Tsukuyomi, so an amber bottle that is stronger than the red gourd can also do the same. It doesn't seem difficult to accept. And if you want to isolate the infinite Tsukuyomi, you need to be at least the level of the Samsara Eye. In other words, the level of the chakra barrier of the amber purifying bottle should be at or above the Samsara Eye. It is precisely because of this chakra barrier that the 8 tails cannot recover inside it. Hyuga Nariku thought secretly. Hokage-sama, the 8 tails are going to use the tailed beast jade. The leader of the sealing class became anxious when he saw that Hinatan Nariku had no intention of taking action immediately. They are just the sealing class. If they want to seal the tailed beast, the first thing they must do is to control the tailed beast. Then they can easily use the sealing technique. No need to rush. Hyuga Nariku smiled and expressed relief. He looked at the purple black-tailed beast jade that had been formed in the mouth of the 8 tails in front of him, and formed a seal. Wood escapeth the art of ranking. A ferocious shield-shaped wood like a ghost grew out of the ground, protecting everyone inside. At the same time, the 8-tailed beast jade has also been charged. Go to hell, Hinatan Nariku. With an angry roar, the huge tailed beast jade roared away. Boom! The huge explosion almost rewritten the terrain. However, after the explosion, the grimace-shaped wooden shield remained in place almost unscathed. This is, Mudun. A look of shock appeared in the eight-tailed eyes as huge as lanterns. He still remembers that this was the ninjutsu of the ninja god Senju Hashirama back then. The grimace-shaped shield opened, and the figure inside appeared. It's actually Mudon. A group of people couldn't help but lose consciousness. Just now, they were inside the shield of ranking technique, feeling the violent vibration caused by the explosion, and they had been worried about whether the wooden escape defense could hold up. However, such a big-tailed beast Jade was easily caught. Is this the true power of Mudon? Yamato looked at the messy forest around him and couldn't help but mutter to himself. His commonly used wood escape defense is wood escape wooden ingot wall. However, with the defensive strength of the wooden ingot wall, it is absolutely impossible to block the tailed beast Jade. No wonder the first-generation adults could easily catch so many tailed beasts back then. The leader of the ceiling class couldn't help but sigh. The tailed beast's strongest attack, the tailed beast Jade, can be easily received by Mudon. Damn bastard, how can you use wood escape? The eight tails roared crazily. This forbearance reminded it of the fear of being suppressed by Senju Hashirama like a weak little animal. The eight tentacle-like tails hit Hinatan Nariku in front, and at the same time, there was no trace of it in his mouth. Without stopping, continued to gather the next tailed beast Jade. Hinatan Nariku ignored it. Guzii formed a seal and said, "Wood escape is all a bag technique." Around the eight tails, a dozen huge wooden escape palms emerged from the ground and grabbed all the tails. Hateful. The eight tails looked at this ninjutsu that was exactly the same as the Senju Hashirama back then, and was shocked and angry. Those wooden palms that looked ordinary were surprisingly powerful. With its power, it would take a while to fight hard. Break free. However, Hinatan Nariku did not give it this time and continued to form seals. The wood escapes, and the tree world is born. In an instant, huge trees rose up from the ground that had been destroyed by the tailed beast Jade. All the trees seemed to be alive, and they entangled together towards the eight tails. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 106. Is this the birth of the tree world? Yamato looked at the sea of lush and wild trees with some confusion. Wood release, tree kaiju ninjutsu can be said to be Senju Hashirama's signature wood release ninjutsu. As soon as you raise your hand, you can see the endless sea of lush trees. No matter how many ninja coalition forces there are, they will be swallowed up by this move. And, these aren't just ordinary trees. Yamato, who mastered the wood release, knew very well, the strength of the wood release is far higher than the ordinary earth release ninjutsu. Even if he only has the strength of wood escape, he can easily defend against ordinary fire escape and thunder escape attacks. The maximum range of wood release ninjutsu that Yamato can currently use is wood release, Jukai Rising. Although there is only one word difference, it is a world of difference from Shuji Shengdan. The function of his tree world is to catch people falling from the sky, so that people will not fall to death. And Hinatan Nariku's current tree world is to be born. Trees growing crazily like vines completely envelope the eight tails from every angle. In conjunction with the wooden hand of Kabutai no Jutsu, the eight tails, as huge as a mountain, was restrained in place and could hardly move. And even if the eight tails manages to break some trees, the broken trees will quickly grow back. Hyaga Nariku can see through the reincarnation eye. The birth of the tree realm is absorbing the chakra of the eight tails to strengthen itself. The eight tails chakra continuously flows towards the sea of trees, turning into nutrients for the growth of trees. Sure enough, the source of wood escape is the sacred tree. Hinatan Nariku nodded secretly. The source of this characteristic of absorbing chakra growth should come from the ability of the sacred tree to absorb natural energy and produce chakra fruits. Hateful. The eight tails struggled wildly with its huge body, but it didn't work at all. It was cut in half by the Golden Will reincarnation explosion in Cloud Hidden Village before, and it was already in a weak state. It has been locked in an amber bottle for so long, and it has never recovered. Recovered? What's more, these trees are absorbing its chakra. The eight-tailed Gyuki even found out in despair, after continuously absorbing its chakra, the strength of these trees became higher. No, we must find a way to break free. A small-tailed beast jade was barely formed in the mouth of the eight tails. The eight tails, which was constantly losing chakra, could only barely condense such a small-tailed beast jade. However, Hinatan Nariku formed a seal with no expression on his face. Wood escape, the art of wood dragon. Crash! The huge wooden dragon rose from the ground in front of Hinatan Nariku, grew to be as tall as the eight tails, and entangled the huge eight-tailed bull ghost. The tailed beast jade, which was not big at all, was caught by the wooden dragon. He swallowed it in one gulp and pressed it on the eight-tailed body. Boom! After the explosion, the sea of wildly growing trees dissipated a little, but quickly grew back again. The wooden dragon was almost unscathed. "Are you already so weak?" Hinatan Nariku said with a little disappointment as he looked at the increasingly desperate eight tails. The wood dragon technique is not strong enough to stop Kyuubi's normal-tailed beast jade. But the strength of the eight tails cannot be compared with the strongest nine tails. Moreover, the eight tails was already in a weak state and was still losing chakra. A small-tailed beast jade cannot even be destroyed by a wooden dragon. Is this still considered weak? Yamato and the ceiling class ninja next to him felt a little speechless. Along with the crazy struggle of the eight tails, the ground was shaking violently like an earthquake. They have no doubt that even with just brute force, the eight tails can level a mountain. Especially the leader of the ceiling class, he has a clearer understanding of the power of tailed beasts. On the night of the Nine Tails Rebellion, he had seen the rampaging Nine Tails with his own eyes. The fourth Hokage psychic beast, Gamabunta, could only barely suppress the Kyuubi for a short period of time. Moreover, Gamabuntana had to use the psychic technique to descend from the sky, and was able to temporarily suppress the Kyuubi like a trick. Even a giant psychic beast like Bunta is completely inferior in strength compared to the tailed beasts. However, the eight tails in front of them now can only barely struggle. In fact, they have almost lost the strength to struggle now. I finally understand why the first generation master was able to capture so many tailed beasts. The leader of the ceiling squad shook his head with emotion on his face. Regardless of the strength of the wood escape or the growth characteristics of absorbing chakra, the tailed beast can be restrained to death. Perhaps, in front of the first Hokage, the tailed beast is what is needed. The one who was afraid, the leader of the ceiling class, had not yet said a word. He finally realized the power gap between the Hokages. Although saying this may be disrespectful to the fourth Hokage, whom he always admired. But no matter whether it is alive or both, the legendary first Hokage and the fifth Hokage in front of them have shown overwhelming superiority over the tailed beasts. Tailed beasts are so powerful that they are considered natural disasters. In front of ninjas like the first Hokage and the fifth Hokage, just a toy. First Hokage, Yamato muttered to himself. He understands the upper limit of Mudon even more clearly. When he was in the root organization, Danzo once gave him all the wood release ninjutsu to learn. He knew very well that there was a wooden man technique that was more powerful than the wood dragon technique. Yamato still remembers clearly that the description of the Bokuto no Jutsu he saw was that of a giant wooden man that was hundreds of meters high. This height had completely exceeded the height of the tailed beast. There is even a move that is more powerful than the wooden man's technique and requires thousands of magical skills to be used. However, even the wood dragon technique was completely unimaginable to Yamato. The wood dragon technique that Hinatan Nariku is currently using can already suppress the eight tails. Not interesting. Hyuga Nariku shook his head in boredom. He didn't even need to use Dekaigen's technique, the eight tails already had no power to resist. You guys, try to seal the eight tails. Hyuga Naruto said to the stunned SEAL class ninja. Oh yes. The SEAL squad leader was stunned for a while before replying. Everyone scattered around, preparing to try to seal the eight tails. Now that the eight tails can hardly move, it is simply the best opportunity to practice sealing the tailed beasts. A group of ninjas from the sealing class dispersed around the eight tails, and then began to form seals. Three-way seal. Four elephants seal. Gossip seal. In the triangular green three-dimensional sealing space, black sealing techniques wrapped around the eight tails. But, damn it! You damn little bugs! The eight tails, which was barely struggling before, completely lost control of chakra under the sealing technique. The Hokage-style ear-smoothing technique, the Kyoan enters the temple and hangs the hands. The square piece of wood with the word seat on it was pressed towards the head of the eight tails. Yamato also tried to use his own wood release to control the eight tails. This is a move used in the wood release ninjutsu to suppress the tailed beast. However, he has never had the chance to use this move after learning it. Where is there any tailed beast that can give him practice? It just so happens that there is the best target here now. Damn it, it's this move again. The eight tails is very familiar with Yamato's move. Back then, after the first Hokage beat it violently, he used this move to kill it with a slap on the head. After that, it was sealed. Still not strong enough. Hinata Naruto looked at the group of people who controlled the eight tails and commented. Konoha has no shortage of superb sealing techniques. However, in order to seal the tailed beast, the prerequisite is to restrain the tailed beast. If there is no convenient thing like wood release or Mangekyo Sharinan, one can only rely on strength to forcibly suppress the tailed beast. However, this is difficult to achieve. Giant psychic beasts like Gamabunta are not even as powerful as one-tailed Shikaku, which is almost the weakest among the tailed beasts. Even the 5-cage level ninjutsu is difficult to work on tailed beasts. In comparison, physical skills, or pure strength, may be more useful. Kumogakure's Third Hokage and Fourth Hokage both relied on nintaijutsu to fight head-on with the eight tails. The Third Hokage once broke off all the tentacles of the eight tails. The Fourth Hokage once broke one of the eight-tailed horns. Shaking his head, Hinata Naruto stretched out his hand, and chakra exploded all over his body. Under the influence of his extreme yin-yang escape, a gray-green gourd appeared out of thin air. This is the ability of yin-yang done to create things out of thin air. And Hyuga Naruto also added the characteristics of wood escape into it. Seal the eight tails inside. Hyuga Naruto said in a calm voice. The chakra level of the amber purifying bottle is very high, and it is a waste of money to use it to seal the tailed beast. He has other uses for the amber purifying bottle. Yes. A group of people responded loudly. After seeing with their own eyes the power of Hyuga Naruto to defeat the eight tails, they had no doubt that the little gourd that suddenly appeared could seal the eight tails. Damn it, you damn humans! The eight-tailed bull ghost roared angrily, but there was nothing that could be done. Under the suppression of multiple wood escapes and sealing techniques, it was completely unable to move. An illusory chakra erupted from the sealing class ninja, wrapping the eight tails tightly, poured into the gray-green gourd. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 107. Inside the Hokage building. Hinata Naruto turned the book of seals to the side where the corpses were sealed, and spread it out on the table. I have to say that this is the biggest benefit after he became Hokage. He can watch and learn the ninjutsu in the sealed scroll at any time. As the largest ninja village in the ninja world, Konoha not only has strength, but also a rich heritage. Miraculous forbidden techniques such as reincarnation from dirty soil and sealing out corpses are all recorded in the Book of Sealings. There are some things in this that are of great research value to the current Hyuga Naruto. Hinata Naruto has now enhanced both yin escape and yang escape to the extreme, reaching the level of 6 paths in both. But I want to be further promoted to blood successor snare and complete the next qualitative change. What is needed is not just the strength and mastery of chakra. The amount of chakra is the most important thing. Just like the six-path sage back then. He has completely mastered the 7 attributes of chakra and can independently condense the Tao-seeking jade, but he is only at the peak of the 6th path level. And after sealing Kagaya, he incorporated the chakra of the 10 tails into his body. Only the immortal of 6 paths successfully ascended to the rank of blood successor snare. Of course, after the 9-tailed beasts were separated, the sage of 6 paths fell again. It can be seen that after fully mastering all attributes of chakra, a large amount of chakra is still needed to complete the qualitative change in the level of life. As for the source of this chakra, Hyuga Nariku of course set his sights on the tailed beasts. This is why he brought the 8 tails back. He needs to capture a tailed beast to study. According to the original work, it seems that the 2 ideas of Uchiha Madara and 6-path sage are not feasible. Hyuga Nariku thought with a slight frown. He came up with 2 ideas based on the original work. But both of them have serious problems. The first idea, like Uchiha Madara, resurrected the 10 tails through the heretic demon, and then became the 10 tails Jinhyuriki. The difference is that before Uchiha Madara became the 10 tails Jinhyuriki, he was still at the level of mortal. At most, he was just a more powerful mortal. Before becoming the 10 tails Jinhyuriki, Uchiha Madara was just a mortal. After opening the Samsara Eye, he did not master any power of the 6 paths. Therefore, after incorporating the 10 tails into his body, Uchiha Madara could only be promoted to the 6 paths level. Even the path-seeking jade was condensed automatically. It is gone after it is used up. And if Hyuga Nariku can become a true 6 paths level like the 6 paths sage, at that time, with the help of the 10 tails chakra, he can directly ascend to the rank of the blood successor snare. However, the problem lies in the 10 tails. From some kind of in a sense, Atsutsuki Kagaya is inseparable from the 10 tails, or the divine tree. In the original work, the single-eyed 6 paths Madara once heard the voice of the divine tree after being suppressed by Naruto Sasuke, who gained the power of the 6 paths sage. The sacred tree told Uchiha Madara to let him absorb him. However, that was actually the voice of Kagaya Atsutsuki. After absorbing the sacred tree, Uchiha Madara also opened the 9 Megatama Samsara Eye on his forehead. And he also believed that he had reached the realm of immortality. At least, Hyuga Nariku believed that Uchiha Madara's feeling at that time was correct, and he was indeed immortal. However, the immortal was Teru Atsutsuki, who had gradually resurrected in him night. Even the eye on his forehead belongs to Kagaya, and after being stabbed in the back by Black Zetsu, he absorbed a large amount of chakra through the infinite Tsukuyomi, and Kagaya Atsutsuki was irreversibly resurrected. Hinata Nariku shook his head and threw away this idea. Even if he can become a complete 6th path, there is still a gap in status between him and Kagaya. If he absorbs the 10 tails promotion to the blood successor, the end will not be the same. How much better than Uchiha Madara in the original work. In other words, after absorbing the 10 tails, the more chakra he has, the closer he is to Kagaya. Perhaps, before he can be promoted to the blood successor, he may be caught by Kagaya cheated. The first idea is not feasible, but the second one is also very problematic. Hyuga Nariku's second idea was to refer to the Sage of 6 Paths back then. The Sage of 6 Paths sealed the body of the 10 tails on the moon, and directly absorbed the chakra of the 10 tails. And because he was worried that the chakra of the 10 tails was too huge, not stable enough, the Sage of 6 Paths first transformed the chakra of the 10 tails into the 9-tailed beasts, and then incorporated the chakra of the 9-tailed beasts into his body. However, this may work for the Sage of 6 Paths who created the 9-tailed beasts. It makes sense. As the creator of the 9-tailed beasts, Rokudo Sage is like a father among the tailed beasts. Moreover, Rokido sage is not prepared to imprison the nine-tailed beasts in his body forever, but is prepared to give them to the nine-tailed beasts. Find a suitable place for the big-tailed beasts to live and release them. Although Hyuga Nariku thinks this approach is stupid, and if Hyuga Nariku wants to skip the outside demon and directly take the nine-tailed beasts into his body, there will be another problem. The problem: the nine-tailed beasts have their own consciousness. Hyuga Nariku can imagine that if he prepares to incorporate all the tailed beasts into his body forever, the tailed beasts will definitely rebel. Just like Naruto used the tailed beast chakra in the original work when the Rasengan attacked Kaguya, the consciousness of the nine-tailed beasts in Kaguya's body resonated and a riot broke out. Hinata Nariku's mouth twitched. It is conceivable. If he is promoted to the blood successor snare in this way, the future will be there may be a scene like this. When he was fighting at Satsuki Momoshiki, Urashiki, or Ishiki, the nine-tailed beasts in his body caused trouble for him. Anyway, being eaten by Hyuga Nariku is also eaten. Being eaten by those three at Satsuki Wood is eaten. Then why don't the tailed beasts try to cause trouble? Maybe we can see the trio of Hinata Nariku and Satsuki being band together, of course. Hinata Nariku feels that the result may be like this: because of the tail in the body the beast went berserk, and he died on the spot during the battle with the Satsuki trio. Then the Satsuki trio smiled and accepted the tailed beast. Well, Hyuga Nariku couldn't help but sigh. It's really not an easy thing to become a blood successor. Therefore, other methods must be used to transfer the tailed beast chakra to oneself. Regarding this, Hyuga Nariku thought of the sealing technique of ghoul seal. He was very curious about the effect of this sealing technique. In the original work, Namikaze Minato once used the ghoul seal to split the nine tails into two halves. The yin nine tails and the yang nine tails split into two halves, almost becoming different individuals. Each has an independent consciousness. The yang nine tails in Naruto even borrowed chakra from the yin nine tails in Minato's body. It's really miraculous. It can be done by splitting an individual's consciousness into two parts. Hyuga Nariku looked at the scroll in front of him and admired in his heart. According to the records in the Book of Sealings, the corpse seal is a sealing technique from the Uzumaki clan. The specific inventor and time of invention are unknown. The record in the Book of Sealings is in this way: through specific seals, you can communicate with the god of death existing in a specific different space. The second Hokage of the year also did research on this, and recorded the next sentence: the breath when summoning the god of death, and the breath when using the reincarnation of the earth smell, very similar. It seems that the second Hokage also tried to seal off the zombies back then, and he probably let others try it. Hinata Nariku's heart sighed and didn't think much about it. They have already developed the forbidden technique of reincarnation in dirty soil. You can probably guess this kind of thing. Is it the underworld? Hinata Nariku thought secretly. The underworld should exist. Reincarnation in the dirty land is an example. Moreover, in the original work, the Sage of Six Paths once summoned the past cage in the Pure Land in order to channel the seventh team and the nine-tailed beasts from Kaguya's first ball space. No sacrifice required, summoned directly from the underworld. The more he learns, the deeper Hinata Nariku feels about the abilities of the Sage of Six Paths. The god of death may come from the underworld, but the title of god seems inappropriate. Hinata Nariku recalled Orochimaru's experience in the original work. Wearing a death mask to dance as a great god, he successfully got into a bug with death and released the souls of past Hokage and his own hands from death's belly. Only Orochimaru's body was sacrificed. After giving up this body, Orochimaru directly used the Fuzo reincarnation to resurrect from a white Zetsu. The god of death was so lonely. What kind of god could be teased like this? If the research is clear, it may be possible to harness the power of death. Hyuga Nariku thought secretly. Since death can divide the nine tails into two clones with independent consciousness, then can death separate the tailed beast into an unconscious clone? After being divided into two halves, the chakra of the nine tails is also reduced by half. It can be seen that although the chakra of the tailed beast can be restored, there is an upper limit to this recovery. If you just absorb the chakra of the tailed beast directly, the chakra will be exhausted. In the original 4 battles, Naruto also killed the 9 tails. The chakra was distributed to the ninja coalition. Hyuga Nariku also absorbed part of the 9-tailed chakra before. These will be exhausted. The clones separated by the corpse seal are not conscious, but they can behave like normal tailed beasts. Same, restore chakra. If it can be completed, maybe we can really peek into the blood succession snare. Hyuga Nariku closed the sealing scroll. His current problem is that he needs to see the corpses sealed. However, he is not ready to try rashly. He is not sure who the god of death is and what impact it will have on him. However, it is estimated that one person may try this trick and want to kill him. Go and notify everyone and let all parties prepare for war. It is impossible for Kumogakure to reply. Hyuga Nariku ordered the Umbu. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 108. Inside Konoha village. A few days after Hyuga Nariku's order was issued, Konoha made preparations for the expedition in all aspects. It was different from the previous hasty expedition to Kumogakure, and also different from the previous uncertainty about the future of the war. This time, everyone has no worries about victory. That time before, in the village, the Third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi had just been impeached before the expedition. Sarutobi Hiruzen even defected. The 2 former advisor elders, Mito Monahan and Koharu Koharu, as well as Sarutobi and other 4 ninja clans, have not been dealt with yet. Hinata Nariku just made some preparations. Akimichi Tofen was entrusted with the temporary management of Konoha. After that, he went directly to the expedition with his team. Outside the village, Kumogakure's assault force has entered the Kingdom of Fire. Uchiha's team of several hundred people have already taken the lead in pushing forward. But now, the cancers of the 4 Sarutobi ninja clans in the village have all been cleaned up. Hinata Nariku, the 5th Hokage, has been in office for a while. In the previous war against Kumogakure, Hyuga Nariku showed overwhelming power. Jiraiya Senpai, Shikaku, after the expedition, the village will be left to you first. In the Hokage building, Hyuga Nariku explained to Jiraiya and the 2 of them. Jiraiya is sitting in the village. With him, most of the enemies in the current ninja world can be dealt with. And Nara Shikaku's wisdom is dealing with the village. He is a good hand in handling affairs and dealing with possible emergencies. I see. Jiraiya said with a sigh. When he came back before, he was originally worried about the war between the village and Kumogakure. Before he came back, he thought he would be sent to the battlefield immediately. But after coming back, he was not needed at all. Now, he is only needed. He just came to sit in the village. For a moment, Jiraiya felt a subtle sense of gap. However, it is also a good thing that there are better young people in the village. What a hassle! Nara Shikaku said with a sad face. Ever since Hyuga Nariku succeeded the 5th Hokage, he has made him serve as the Hokage's assistant, entrusting him with many things. Or in other words, pushing him to do them. It seems that he has no worries that he will take advantage of the opportunity. It's the same as eroding Naruto's power. Although Nara Shikaku is very grateful to Hinata Nariku for trusting him. But he hopes to let him have more leisure time. Chief Fugaku, I wonder how the investigation on the masked man is going. Jiraiya asked Uchiha Fugaku. That guy's target is Naruto. As Naruto's guardian now, he must figure out the other party's identity and purpose. Uchiha Fugaku's expression was a little subtle, and he hesitated for a while, then he said. We at Uchiha have also been checking relevant information. According to our guess, that person, the most likely suspect is, Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara? How is that possible? How long has he been dead? Jiraiya subconsciously retorted. Everyone who knows Uchiha Madara knows that he should have been killed by the first Hokage in the battle at the Valley of the End. Moreover, even if Uchiha Madara was not dead at the time, how could he survive until now? I also think this speculation is ridiculous, but after our investigation, this is the person we feel is most suspicious. Uchiha Fugaku said with a bitter smile. Because the masked man was suspected of being an Uchiha clan member. After the incident, many people wanted the Uchiha clan to find out the origin of that man. Although they all wanted to believe that the man was not an Uchiha from Konoha. From the Uchiha clan. However, if you want to find out the identity of the other party, you should start from the Uchiha clan. What are your reasons for making this guess? Nara Shikaku asked with squinted eyes. At the same time, his brain was running rapidly, analyzing this possibility. The opponent's mask seems to have some kind of sealing technique. According to the Hyuga clan, it can block the Byakugan's detection, so we don't know the appearance behind the opponent's mask. It was previously speculated that the other party was from the Uchiha clan, also because the other party used Izanagi and knew the Uchiha eye-opening method very well. Uchiha Fugaku said slowly. For these reasons, many people in the Uchiha clan also believe that the mysterious man may have Uchiha blood. We guess that the other party is Uchiha Madara for the following reasons. First, the opponent only showed one right eye. Their guess about this is that Uchiha Madara did not die after fighting the first Hokage, but Izanagi, who used the Sharingan in his left eye, survived. And after the left eye lost its light using Izanagi, the opponent replaced his left eye with an ordinary 3 Magatama Sharingan. The last time the opponent activated Izanagi, it should have been the left eye. Does make sense. But if the other party is Uchiha Madara, there is no way to explain why the other party can survive until now, Jiraiya said while stroking his chin, and then suddenly remembered the big toad sage in Mt. Myaboku. He had no idea how long the toad sage had lived. So, is it possible that Uchiha Madara has mastered some means to survive? Now, we guess the second reason for Uchiha Madara is because of the Kyuubi. Uchiha Fugaku paused for a while and said. The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan has the power to control tailed beasts. This rumor comes from Uchiha Madara. The last battle between Uchiha Madara and the first Hokage was controlled by the Sharingan. It was done after killing the Kyuubi. Very reasonable. Nara Shikaku also nodded and said. It was also this guy who released the Nine Tails during the Nine Tails Rebellion. Before, when he wanted to capture Naruto, his target was also the Nine Tails. Moreover, during the Kyuubi rebellion 4 years ago, Kyuubi suddenly appeared in the village. Psychic art. Jiraiya understood Nara Shikaku's meaning. Uchiha Madara had captured Kyuubi decades ago. He may have forcibly signed a psychic contract with Kyuubi at that time. After defeating the first Hokage, Kyuubi, he was captured back to Konoha by the first Hokage. The Nine Tails Rebellion 4 years ago and the attack on Naruto not long ago can be seen as Uchiha Madara's desire to recapture the Nine Tails again. Mainly based on these two guesses, we guess that the masked man's time and space ninjutsu may be the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Fugaku did not shy away and directly told the story about the Mangekyo. Before the expedition to Kumogakure, he and Shisui had already exposed the Mangekyo and Susanoo. However, all the Konoha ninjas who went on the expedition saw it. Susanoo, the target of Ningu's sword swing, is Yunyin, the enemy. According to the literature within our clan, Uchiha Madara and his younger brother Uchiha Izuna clearly opened the Mangekyo Sharingan. However, none of the clan documents record their Mangekyo Sharingan ability. Therefore, we guess that if the masked man is Uchiha Madara, his right eye is likely to be the Mangekyo Sharingan, and he masters the kind of time and space ninjutsu that can blur himself. Uchiha Fugaku finished speaking in one breath, and finally added a few words. Of course, the possibility of other Uchiha clan members is not ruled out. In previous ninja wars, many clan members died on the battlefield, without even leaving intact bodies. It is also possible that one of these people faked his death and then transformed into the masked man. Jiraiya nodded and said. In comparison, Uchiha Madara is more likely. After all, Uchiha Madara and the masked man both had the experience of controlling the Nine Tails back then. Narashikaku also had the same idea and said. Uchiha's kaleidoscope shouldn't be that easy to turn on. On one side is Uchiha Madara, who definitely has a kaleidoscope. On the other side is an Uchiha clansman who may have faked his death. In comparison, Uchiha Madara, who is definitely sure of having a kaleidoscope, is more suspicious. Hinata Naruko listened to the speculations of several people and said not even. I even want to laugh. Most people can't imagine that Uchiha Obito can directly open his eyes from the second Megatama to the kaleidoscope. However, Hyuga Naruko didn't try to beat around the bush to remind them. They thought the masked man was Uchiha Madara, or someone else. Uchiha, it doesn't matter. Okay, get ready to go. Hyuga Naruko shook his head and said. If nothing else happened, Hiruzen Sarutobi and the masked man who didn't know if he was Madara Uchiha should be in Kumogakure village. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 109. The sea between the land of fire and the land of water. A group of giant eagles that look like ink paintings are traveling rapidly. On each giant eagle, there are more than 10 Konoha ninjas. I heard that Hokage-sama has mastered wood release. Someone whispered to the person next to him. Would escape. The others were shocked. As Konoha ninjas, everyone knows what this means. This ninjutsu belonging to the first Hokage is recorded in the textbooks from the ninja school. Is it true? It's the first Hokage's wood release. Someone said in disbelief. A friend of mine in the sealing class told me, but he didn't say much. The person who spoke first looked around and saw that no one was paying attention, so he spoke in a low voice. It would be great if it was true, we would also like to see it. Someone said with envy in their eyes. They all wanted to see the first Hokage's wood release with their own eyes. Many of the large forests around Konoha were created by the first Hokage's wood release ninjutsu. Some older people in the village, I once told such a story. Alert! A ninja from the Hyuga clan suddenly screamed. A large amount of chakra aura is found ahead. Hyuga Naruko's bright reincarnation eye silently stared ahead. After flying closer, a huge island appeared in outline in the thin mist in the sky. On the periphery of the island, a large group of Kumogakure ninjas were already waiting there. They've discovered us. Hyuga Naruko stopped someone's idea of using a detonating talisman to launch a sneak attack. According to the map, this place is not far from the land where Kumogakure village is located. They actually arrived here in advance and were prepared. How could they react so quickly? Is it Baiju? Hyuga Naruko guessed in his mind. He remembered that Baizetsu could integrate with the Earth's plants and move at high speed. It may be that Baizetsu who was scouting near the village found signs of their sending troops. Therefore, using Mayflies the high-speed movement of the art passed the news to Obito Uchiha in Kumogakure village. Then, Obito used the 4th generation water shadow under his control to send people to garrison here in advance. Water escape, the art of Kumogakure. Below, the Kumogakure ninjas were not surprised by the sudden appearance of the giant eagles, and began to form seals one after another. The originally thin water vapor in the sky quickly thickened, blocking the view. Are they idiots? The Kumogakure jutsu has no effect on us, Hinata. The ninjas of the Hyuga clan couldn't help but sneer. After opening the Byakugan, they could directly see the opponent's chakra. This layer of mist containing chakra could not block the chakra reaction of the Kumogakure ninja at all. However, Hinata Nariku frowned and ordered. The wind escape ninja blew this thick fog back. The chakra in this thick fog is not a simple water escape chakra. Yes. The wind escape ninjas on the surrounding giant eagles were stunned, but they quickly obeyed the order. Although they didn't know what the situation was, they believed in Lord Hokage's order. Wind escape, a big breakthrough. Using the wind escape ninjutsu one by one, the thick fog that filled the sky was swept back towards the Kumogakure ninja. Water escape, water flow wall. A clear female voice sounded, and at the same time, a huge wall of water rose from the ground, blocking all the Kumogakure ninjas from behind. Sure enough, the mist just now was mixed with boiling acid mist. Hyuga Nariku's eyes fell on the brown-haired woman. Terumi Mei. Just now, she used the cover of Kurogakure's art to secretly add her boiling acid mist. Acid fog. Kakashi, who was next to Hinata Nariku, frowned and quickly reacted. The other party wants to use acid mist to corrode the giant eagle we are riding on. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for Kumogakure to defeat them who have the air superiority. As expected of the fifth Hokage of Konoha, he could see through the little girl's thoughts so easily. Terumi Mei in the crowd covered her lips and chuckled. However, her heart was not so relaxed. After a rough estimate, she found that there were about 2,000 Konoha ninjas on the giant eagle. Compared with them Kumogakure, they are almost the same. Although the ninjas trained by Kumogakure village are all elite due to the blood mist policy. However, Konoha across the street is also recognized as the #1 ninja village. The people who went out on the other side this time must also be elite. She originally wanted to use the other side's the air superiority was abolished, but the opponent's fifth Hokage easily saw through it. Kisame, where is Mizukage-sama? It's hard for us people to resist. Terumi Mei whispered to Mikagaki Kisame on the side. After the death of the Fuga ghost in Watermelon Mountain, Mikagaki Kisame took over the Kumogakure Umbu. He is also responsible for the more than 2,000 people on Kurogakure's expedition this time. Command. However, Terumi Mei is very puzzled that the 4th Mizukage Goda Kibana Yagura did not come with them during this expedition. Could it be that the 4th generation was really controlled? Terumi Mei recalled Yuanji's thoughts and thought to herself. Lord Mizukage will be responsible for dealing with the other side's 5th Hokage. Kakagaki Kisame grinned, revealing a mouthful of sharp teeth. The large sword Samehada that originally belonged to the Watermelon Mountain Fuga demon was carried on his shoulders. This was what he captured after killing the Watermelon Mountain Fuga demon. However, once thinking of the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish ghost, Kisame can still feel a sense of unknown anger. He was asked to lead people to stand in front of Konoha, saying that he was going to sneak attack from the side. The result? The bastard of the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish ghost, but he ran away. By the time he reacted, the Kumogakure ninjas with him had already suffered heavy losses. After that, they were chased by Konoha ninjas when they retreated, and most of them were killed or injured. More than 1,000 of the people who went on the expedition were killed. The famous Kumogakure ninja, only a few people returned sparsely in the end. Even he himself was almost caught up by a large number of Konoha ninjas and died in the Land of Fire. He escaped from the Land of Fire with wounds all over and crossed the sea. Later, when he returned to Kumogakure village, he found that the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish ghost was just like a normal person. So, Kisame revealed these things directly in front of Mizukage. However, unexpectedly, a man walked out from behind Goju Yagura. A man with long hedgehog-like hair who calls himself Madara Uchiha. That guy controlled the 4th Mizukage with his Sharingan. Next, Kisame Kisaki, who had just been stabbed in the back by the Watermelon Mountain Pufferfish ghost, heard Moon know after the AI project, he couldn't help but yearn for the dream world. Therefore, he directly accepted the invitation from Madara Uchiha and joined the AI of the Moon project. After that, Uchiha Yagura summoned the Watermelon Mountain Fugu demon. And while he was not paying attention, he directly killed the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish demon and took away the opponent's Same Hata. As a subordinate of the Watermelon Mountain Blowfish demon, Ki Same had long known that Same Hata it was a living ninja sword. But it was just right. He and Same Hata felt good about each other. Same Hata changed his master with almost no resistance. And with the help of Same Hata, he had already huge cha. The amount of carrots has become even more terrifying. With Same Hata's ability to replenish chakra, as long as that Uchiha Madara can deal with the other side's Hokage, he will have the confidence to lead the Kirigakure ninjas and Konoha to the end. Did the fourth generation come with you? Hearing this, Terumi Mei's heart became more solemn. If the fourth Mizukage had followed, he was not with them. So, what is the reason? Is it because he is worried about getting Ao's eyes, or from Konoha's side? Rolling your eyes, you saw that he was under an illusion? At this moment, a loud male voice suddenly sounded. The wood escapes, and the tree world is born. On the ground of the island, huge trees rose from the ground, rushing straight towards the giant eagle in the sky. Would escape? Is it really Mudon? The first master's ninjutsu? Whose would release ninjutsu is this? Why are we the target? The Konoha ninjas on the giant eagle hurriedly controlled the giant eagle to dodge. At the same time, a man in red armor came over. His face had the unique cracks of the reincarnation of the earth. His eyes were dark and empty. Without a single thought. All Konoha ninjas are extremely familiar with this face. The number 1 rock statue of Hokage. The first Hokage. Senju Hashirama. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 110. That shouldn't be. The first Hokage. How is this possible? Kakashi stared blankly at Hashirama. He had seen the huge stone statue in the Valley of the End. To the right of the waterfall in the Valley of the End, that huge stone statue was wearing the same armor as the man in front of him. Really the first Hokage? Uchiha Fugaku was stunned for a while. In the documents of their Uchiha clan, there is a portrait of the first Hokage. Therefore, he was extremely certain that the person in front of him, at least in appearance, must be the first Hokage. And this iconic wood release also revealed the opponent's identity. But why does the first Hokage appear here? How could the first Hokage attack us? What exactly is going on? A group of Konoha ninjas were talking and wondering. The same was true for the Kirigakure ninjas below. That one, the first Hokage of Konoha, the legendary god of ninja, Senju Hashirama. Kiden Manjiro, who went on the expedition together this time, looked at the red-armored figure with fear on his face. They, the Ghost Lantern clan, once thought of themselves as Mizukage. The second generation Mizukage, Ghost Lantern Huanyu. Ghost Lantern Huanyu also came from the Warring States period. He was a ninja who had experienced great battles. The records he left behind also recorded the first Hokage of Konoha. Unfathomable. As powerful as a god. The first Hokage of Konoha seems to be on our side. Mamakai Zabuza looked at the first Hokage of the evil land in confusion. All the Kirigakure ninjas also realized this. Just now, the target of the first generation of the evil Earth's tree realm was the Konoha ninja. For a moment. Although I don't know how. Even the Kirigakure ninjas couldn't help but feel so confident. Your first generation Hokage is on our side? What the heck are you juniors doing? Don't worry, that was using a forbidden technique in a sealed book to summon the dead first Hokage. Hyuga Naruko said, looking at the cracks on the face of the first generation of dirty soil. But even so, the power of the first generation of dirty soil should not be underestimated. The forbidden technique of the sealed book. Kakashi frowned and his expression changed drastically. It's that guy Sarutobi Hiruzen. Only this defected Hokage can perform this forbidden technique here. How dare he blaspheme the soul of the First Lord like this, or is he using it to beat us Konoha ninjas? Even Uchiha Shisui couldn't help but surge with anger. He ended the troubled times, established Konoha, and brought peace. Such the first Hokage is a godlike existence in the minds of many Konoha ninjas. And now, in order to fight them, Sarutobi Hiruzen actually summoned the dead first Hokage back from the Pure Land. Hey, ninjas of Konoha. Keikisaki Kisame said carelessly. Your first Hokage is on our side, do you still want to fight? It's different from what Hinata Naruto thought. Kisame believes that the Senju Hashirama was created by the guy who calls himself Uchiha Madara. If the other party is really the legendary Uchiha Madara, then the other party, it doesn't seem difficult to imagine summoning the Senju Hashirama who is as famous as him. Of course we have to fight. Hyuga Naruto chuckled and said. Also, Sarutobi Hiruzen is hiding somewhere. You don't think that you can defeat me with just a dirty first Hokage, do you? While saying this, Hinata Naruto quickly formed seals in his hands. Would escape. Christmas in the world of trees. Crash. Huge trees rose from the ground where the Kirigakure ninjas were. Many Kirigakure ninjas were knocked to the ground before they could catch up. The wildly growing branches quickly tied up the fallen Kirigakure ninjas. Damn it, these branches are absorbing my chakra. A Kirigakure ninja who was tied up wanted to break free, but found that his chakra was continuously being lost. Get out of the way. Keikagaki Kisame waved his same hata muscle to cut off the branches, trying to leave the woods. This forest is too big. Terumi May used boiling release to corrode the branches blocking the way, while retreating in a hurry. Their 2000 Kirigakure ninja team was completely covered by the opponent's ninjutsu. Damn it! What happened? First, the first Hokage appeared inexplicably. Why is the fifth Hokage now also able to escape? Zabuza slashed the branch with his sword. The decapitating sword is no longer in his hand. The first 7 people of the ninja sword, the holder of the decapitating sword, Lokwa Juzo, took the decapitating sword with him when he defected before. On the Konoha ninja side, a burst of ecstasy suddenly broke out. Was it the wood release performed by the fifth Hokage just now? Can Lord Godei actually use wood release? I heard before that Hokage-sama has mastered the wood style of the first generation, but I didn't expect it to be true. Uchiha Fugaku looked at the majestic sea of trees below, his expression of shock was beyond words. This is really Mudon. Other than Senju, Uchiha is the most familiar with wood release. They had been tortured by this technique too many times. When Uchiha Fugaku was born, the first Hokage happened to have died. I have only heard of this technique from some old people in Uchiha. Unexpectedly, today, not only did I see wood release on the first Hokage. Hyuga Naruto actually also performed the wood release ninjutsu at the level of the tree world advent. In the Kamui space, Uchiha Obito, Zetsu, and Sarutobi Hiruzen all have suppressed faces. Why can Hyuga Naruto master wood release? Uchiha Obito couldn't understand. There is a ninja named Yamato in the Umbu of Konoha. He is the only successful case of the first generation cell transplantation experiment. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought for a while before saying. You wouldn't tell me that Hinata Naruto learned wood escape from Yamato, right? Uchiha Obito sneered. Sarutobi Hiruzen was also silent. Of course wood release is not that easy to learn. The second Hokage, who is the younger brother of the first Hokage, has not mastered wood release. Could it be that he also transplanted cells from the first Hokage? Black Zetsu said suddenly. People who have successfully transplanted the cells of the first Hokage have more or less mastered wood release. The difference is just in degree. Obito Uchiha was once transplanted with the cells of the first Hokage. But the most commonly used one is wood release. It's just a cutting technique. The original Uchiha Madara, secretly induced by Black Zetsu, also transplanted the first generation cells. But Uchiha Madara's wood release is completely different. Even a powerful wood release ninja such as Shukikai technique, Uchiha Madara could also perform it while alive. Uchiha Obito was silent for a while. Let a Fei come on and fully unleash the power of Senju Hashirama. Outside, a strange creature grew out of the ground and stood beside the first generation of dirty earth. It has white texture all over its body, its face is twisted like a spiral, and there is a hole in the right eye. Let's say it's the right eye, because this creature just has a human shape, but except for a hole in its face, there are no other organs. Uzumaki Hakose Suahi, as soon as he appeared on the stage, he said in this funny tone. Can you tell me what it feels like to have a bowel movement, all of a sudden? All the Konoha ninjas were stunned. Uchiha Fugaku opened his mouth but did not speak. Just now he saw the hole in a Fei's right eye and thought it was the masked man who appeared. Now, this idea he was completely thrown away. No matter whether the masked man was Uchiha Madara or not. At least, the weirdo in front of him definitely couldn't be Uchiha Madara. No human being could say such weird things. It's so boring, then I'll just kill you. When Baijuo Fei saw that no one was paying attention to him, he directly wrapped the body of the first generation of dirty soil. I see. Hyuga Naruko nodded slowly. The previous generation of dirty soil had no self-awareness. It was completely controlled by Sarutobi Hiruzen, the caster. He was originally curious and did not fully exert the power of the first generation of dirty soil. Sarutobi, how could Hiruzen have the confidence to use this to deal with him? In the end, the opponent wanted to use Uzumaki White Zetsu Abi to merge with the first generation of Gentoo, and then exert the power of the first generation Hokage. In the original work, White Zetsu Fei once used this method to control two Yamato. You go deal with the Kirigakure ninja, I'll deal with this guy. Hyuga Naruko ordered, and at the same time gave another instruction. Remember, don't get close to my battlefield, be careful of being affected. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 111. On a huge pristine island. The ninjas of Konoha and Kirigakure were already at war. At the end of their sight, they could see a large number of giant trees rising into the sky. Just now, Hyuga Naruko and White Zetsu Fei, who was wrapped in the first Hokage of the dirty earth, had already changed the battlefield. Otherwise, everyone on the field would have been swallowed up by the sea of trees. We are simply powerless to resist this kind of power. Terumi Mei's face showed bitterness. She has just turned 18 this year, and her strength is far from reaching its peak. But she can be sure. Give her another 10 years, and she won't be able to use such terrifying ninjutsu. It's just that. Just now, Hinata Naruko's casual tree birth trapped the 2,000 Kirigakure ninjas in the sea of trees. And, now, the sea of trees growing ferociously and twisting together in the distance is more powerful than before. Even scarier. Kisame, do we really want to continue fighting? Terumi Mei dodged an attack and asked Mikagakure Kisame. Konoha's side has air superiority, and it's very troublesome for them to fight. And for the battle on the other side, they relied on the inexplicable appearance of Konoha's first Hokage. What if the first Hokage hadn't stopped the other fifth Hokage? They might have been defeated by Hyuga Naruko alone. Master Mizukage has other trump cards, we just need to resolve the battle here. Keikagakiki same said, waving his sword same hata. Hinatan Nariku's side. It seems like your tree world is going to be unable to hold on any longer. Hyaga Nariku said while curiously observing the white Zetsu Abi opposite him with his reincarnation eye. Among all the white Zetsus, this Uzumaki white Zetsu Abi can be said to be the most special one. And it is also the strongest. 1. It possesses a huge amount of chakra, as well as the 5 chakra attributes of water, fire, wind, thunder, and earth. In the original 4 battles, Bai Zetsuafei, who rapped Yamato, even displayed a small true thousand hands. And nowadays, Bai Juafei, who is wrapped in the first generation of Dirty Earth, uses the wood release to be even stronger. At least, for now, Bai Juafei's Shujijiang has the power to single-handedly challenge a ninja army of thousands of people. Oh my, I really have no choice, I have to be more serious and make you look like shit. Bai Juafei screamed exaggeratedly and formed a seal in his hand. Wood escape, the art of wood dragon. Rumble. The ferocious wooden dragon burst out of the ground, its big brown eyes stared at Hinatan Nariku, and swooped over. Just this level is not enough. The corners of Hyaga Nariku's mouth raised slightly, and he formed a seal at the same time. Wood escape, the art of wood dragon. In an instant, 3 wooden dragons rose from the ground. 2 of them entangled Bai Juafei's wooden dragon, and the other rushed straight to Bai Juafei's position. Wow! I'm going to be photographed as shit. Bai Juafei yelled in panic, and the sea of trees in front of him turned to block the wooden dragon. Click. Click. The originally extremely hardwood sea of trees became like an ordinary tree in front of the wooden dragon. They were broken one after another. However, in this short period of time, Bai Juafei also got a chance to retreat. Hoo, it's really dangerous. Bai Juafei dodged the wooden dragon and stabilized his figure on the other side. When he raised his head, 2 more wooden dragons rushed towards him. The wooden dragon he had before had been killed by 2 of Hinatan Nariku's strangling and smashing. You can't beat me with the same moves, you stupid shit. Bai Juafei laughed while forming a seal and said. You shit, tremble under the great power of calming the troubled times. Wood escape, the art of wooden people. The huge gray-green tree soared into the sky, turning into a giant with a somewhat funny appearance. However, this giant who does not look ferocious, and even seems a bit honest, reaches a height of hundreds of meters. Some of the giants on the original island no mountain peak has such a height. Boom. 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 The huge wooden man slowly walked forward. Every step was like an earthquake. So, what is that? The Konoha and Kumogakure ninjas who were fighting all noticed the situation here. Many people's bodies were trembling. The huge wooden man like a mountain was like a god walking on the ground. Wooden man, this is the art of wooden man. It's the first Hokage Spokugin Jutsu. Uchiha Fugaku is simply crazy. As the leader of the Uchiha clan, he knows the most about Uchiha affairs. The clan's literature records that Uchiha Madara Susanoo is more than 100 meters tall. And the Bokugin Jutsu mastered by Senju Hashirama can confront Madara Uchiha Susanoo head-on. Height of 100 meters. Even the tailed beast looks like a child in front of such a huge height. Which side does this wooden man belong to? Was it used by the first generation of adults or by the 5th generation of adults? The ninjas of Konoha are extremely anxious. Although the 2 people fighting are both Hokage of Konoha. But, on the side of the first Hokage, the soul summoned by Hiruzen Sarutobi is not on their side now. On top of the wooden man, I saw the white creature that suddenly appeared before. The Kumogakure ninja Ao took off his blindfold and observed with his Byakugan. Does that mean our side has the upper hand? Keikagakiki same grinned. He didn't know what the weird thing that asked about fucking intention was. But, I guess it was Uchiha Madara's method. It seems that your fifth Hokage's wood release is still not as good as the original master's after all. Keiki Sakiki-same couldn't help but mocked. In the Kamui space, Obito also thought so. I didn't expect that guy to be able to use the wood dragon technique, but that was all. Uchiha Obito was relieved. The power of the first Hokage, under the control of Baizetsu Afei, was fully unleashed. Even Hyuga Nariku had to surrender under this kind of power. Black Zetsu also nodded. Even Uchiha Madara, after transplanting the first generation cells, can at most perform the wood dragon technique. The Tree Realm's Advent, the Flower and Tree Realm's Advent, and the Wood Dragon's Art. And further up, the Wooden Man's Art, Uchiha Madara had not been able to successfully perform it during his lifetime. Moreover, Black Zetsu, who had witnessed the battle in the Valley of the End that year, knew clearly that the Bokujin Jutsu was far from the ultimate power of Senju Hashirama. The one who made Uchiha Madara so powerful. Black Zetsu still remembers the huge Buddha statue that was blasted with Suzanu's hammer. It's just the Hyuga clan. Compared to the descendants of Higoromo's rebellious son, they are still far behind. Heizetsu thought secretly in his heart. Although he disliked the Sage of Six Paths who sealed Kaguya. However, he had to admit that the chakra reincarnations of the two sons of Sage of Six Paths were both too powerful. Hiruzen Sarutobi through the Kamui space, he stared at Hinata Nariku. Hinata Nariku, who pushed him down from the position of Hokage, was sanctioned to death by the power of the first Hokage. In his opinion, this is the best result. In the real world, Hinata Nariku watching the approaching wooden figure, he remained unmoved. Finally, I have a suitable target to truly test the power of Mudun. Hyuga Nariku moved his shoulders slightly and began to form seals in his hands. Wood escape, the art of wooden people. In an instant, a huge wooden teleportation giant that was taller than the previous wooden man rose from the ground. On the primitive island, two giants faced each other from a distance. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 112. Another wooden man. This wooden man is taller than the previous one. What kind of battle is this? On the other side of the original island, all the Konoha ninjas and Kirigakure ninjas looked at the scene with dumbfounded eyes. Yes. It's Gode-sama. I saw the fifth Hokage on that wooden man's shoulder. A Hyuga ninja who turned on the Byakugan far-sighted ability said excitedly. Soon, every ninja with the ability to sense began to investigate. Yes, it is indeed the chakra aura of the fifth Hokage. A ninja from the mountain clan said in surprise after closing his eyes for a while. That is really the fifth generation wood escape. I didn't expect Lord Gode's wood release to be so strong. A group of Konoha ninjas, who were a little worried before, calmed down instantly. Before, they thought it was just an expedition without any accidents. But they met their first Hokage inexplicably. And that first Hokage was Hiruzen Sarutobi summoned from the Pure Land to deal with them. While angry, many Konoha ninjas also felt a little guilty. After all, that was the first Hokage. Senju Hashirama. The figure known as the God of Ninja. Even if they believed in this man who was the first Hokage summoned by Sarutobi, Hiruzen could not possibly have all the strength he had during his lifetime. But they inevitably felt a little guilty when facing this legendary figure. Especially after seeing the tall wooden man. However, now, they are now the fifth Hokage also showed the same Bokumon technique. He even exceeded it by a height. Everyone's confidence in Hinata Nariku skyrocketed again. Several people in the Kamui space were shocked almost at the same time. Exhale. Impossible. The one who finds it most unbelievable is Black Zetsu. He still remembers that Madara Uchiha once tried to use the wooden man jutsu before his death. However, after so many attempts, they all failed. At most, he could only use the wooden dragon jutsu. Where did this Hinatan Naraka come from? Heiju's thoughts surged wildly in his heart. He knew very well that Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara were the chakra reincarnations of the two sons of Sage of Six Paths. Senju Hashirama, who inherited Asura's chakra, can use the exaggerated wood release. As for Uchiha Madara, who inherited Indra's chakra, after transplanting Hashirama's cells, he could at most perform the wood dragon technique. Hyuga Naraku is a member of the Hyuga clan. Why can you use the technique of Wooden Man? How could he even be able to use the first sensei's Bokyujin technique? Sarutobi Hiruzen stared at Hinatan Naraku's Bokyuto with a ferocious face. When he was young, he had seen Senju Hashirama perform the Bokyujin technique. All enemies, even tailed beasts, were vulnerable to this move. There is no way to fight back. The only one who can fight against this wooden man is Uchiha Madara back then. His wooden figure is taller than a face. Uchiha Obito's expression was uncertain. The strength shown by Hyuga Naraku has exceeded his expectations. He thought that letting Baizetsu Afei use the power of the first Hokage to suppress Hyuga Naraku. As a result, it has now become like this. That guy from Yagura has to show up. In Uchiha Obito's scarlet right eye, 3 black Megatamas slowly rotated. Outside, 2 huge wooden figures are already fighting together. It seems that your wooden figure is not strong enough. Hyuga Naraku stood on the wooden man's shoulder and said. Under the suppression of his wooden man, Baiju Afei's wooden man was obviously at a disadvantage in terms of strength and was slowly retreating. Oh my, this is really troublesome. Afei touched his head, but he didn't look panicked. In other words, Baiju might not have such rich emotions. Roar. At this moment, on the other side of the island, a huge creature suddenly appeared. A man with long hair, 3 tails, a strange turtle-like creature with thorns all over the body. 3-tailed Isobutsu. However, now the right eye of the 3 tails is a scarlet 3 Magatama Sharinan. Under the control of Uchiha Obito, a tailed beast is in the mouth of the 3 tails. The jade formed quickly and whizzed towards Hinatan Naraku. Sure enough, the 4th Mizukage has been controlled. Hyuga Naraku was not surprised by the appearance of the 3 tails. He was just curious about when Yagura began to be controlled by Obito. Seeing the tailed beast Tama coming at him, Hyuga Naraku controlled Bokyuto and raised his hand slightly. He's just an ordinary tailed beast and wants to deal with Bokyuto. Buzz. The tailed beast jade formed by a huge chakra mass, exuding a dark red light, was directly grasped by Bokyuto in his hand. What? Baiju Afei didn't react for a moment and was stunned for a while. Tailed beast jade was actually caught directly by Muren? It seems that you still don't know enough about Mudun. The corners of Hyuga Naraku's mouth raised slightly. Baiju Fei could only use the body of the first generation of dirty earth to use the wood escape. Then, I'll give this tailed beast jade to you. Muren grabbed the tailed beast jade in his hand and pressed it hard on Afei Muren's body. Not good. Afei immediately felt something bad, but it was too late. Boom. A huge explosion flattened a nearby mountain peak. A fierce storm swept across the entire primitive island. No, we can't fight any longer. If this continues, we will also be affected. Everyone, prepare to retreat. On the Konoha ninja side, Kakashi made a quick decision. All the fighting Konoha ninjas boarded the giant eagle of the super beast fake painting and retreated far away. Let's hide a little further away. The distance here is still too close and it's not safe at all. Terumi Mei didn't ask Kisame for his opinion this time. Konoha has retreated. Why are they still in a stalemate here? It's the Sharinan. I saw the Sharinan in the eyes of the 3 tails. Qingqiang endured the irritation of the storm to his eyes, and turned his white eyes to where the 3-tailed Isofa was. The 4th generation was indeed controlled. Terumi Mei's heart moved, and she no longer hesitated. The other Kirigakure ninjas followed suit and retreated. Kisame Makeki looked uncertain. He even wanted to curse in his heart. Is that Uchiha Madara reliable? The matter of controlling Yagura was actually exposed. Hinatan Nariku's side. After the explosion of the tailed beast Jade, Baizetsu Afe stood on top of the wooden figure, and his figure emerged from the dust of the explosion. However, this wooden figure, almost half of the man's body has been blown off. It seems that the strength is really not very good. An ordinary sized tailed beast Jade can blow up your wooden figure like this. It is really embarrassing to the first Hokage. Hyaga Nariku said with a joking expression on his lips. The strength of the Bokuto that Baijufei used to perform with the help of Hashirama's Bokuto is completely incomparable to the real Bokuto. You're right when you think about it. The reincarnation from Utsutsuki used by Sarutobi Hiruzen is not as good as an improved version of Orochimaru. Moreover, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not dare to let go of the suppression of the consciousness of the first Hokage. In fact, he did not even dare to let the first Hokage say a word. He could only let Fei, the special white Zetsu, be wrapped in the first Hokage, thus bringing out the power of the first Hokage. Don't underestimate me, you stupid shit. Fei stood on the broken wooden figure and shouted with great momentum. I still have an ultimate ninjutsu.